Everyone. I hope you are ready for the spring. Thank you for tuning in to PhillyCAM Voices. I'm your host, Amanda Johnson. Now, this group, Moms Clean Air Force, is fighting air pollution and climate change in Philadelphia. Medea Alonso explains why they want clean air for all of us to breathe.
The Moms Clean Air Force is a nationwide advocacy organization, sort of an organization of moms and dads who are working to fight air pollution and climate change by advocating at every level of government for better policies to protect our health and the environment. Well, transportation is a major source of air pollution here, and that comes from buses, cars, construction vehicles, etc. When the air is more polluted, oftentimes people with asthma have harder times. Their asthma is aggravated more on bad air quality days. You also have, cross pollution from other industrial operations around the city that are contributing to the pollution as well. And that air pollution is then also contributing to the climate crisis, and which creates impacts like high heat days, and when it's hotter, air quality is more poor, and people with respiratory and other underlying conditions can suffer even more significantly as well.
I seriously feel like so many of my friends have asthma, so many of them, and it's unbelievable how bad it is. And during COVID especially, it's really taken a toll on my friends and their conditions.
Right now we are working on, at the federal level, there are several packages of legislation that have been coming out over the last several weeks, actually, in March of this year, and trying to figure out a way to fund a transition to a fully electric fleet of school buses across the country. And so one of them that was just introduced is called the Clean School Bus Act, and we're supporting that pretty significantly.
Oh, it's super important. Something that really needs to happen right now is that we just need to do something about it, because a lot of people think it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not going to happen for like another 10 years. We have plenty of time to fix it. No, we don't. We don't have plenty of time. We need to fix this now.
All right, you see, climate change, air pollution, we can all definitely do our part. As you see, when she said, we can fix this now. So up next, we have a tech company, Launch Code, is planting roots in Philadelphia. Its mission is to help bridge the digital divide. Joining me now is Leah Scher and Jesse Wilcox from Launch Code. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
It is a pleasure. When you say coding, everybody's ears go up like, wow, okay, what are we about to learn today? But I know we're going to have a lot to learn today. So let's start off with, what is Launch Code?
Launch Code is a nonprofit. We're a national workforce development nonprofit, and our main goal is to create pathways into the tech industry through apprenticeships and through free education and job placement technology.
Awesome. So where is your company going to be based?
Yeah, so Launch Code was originally founded in the St. Louis area, and for the first time this summer, we're launching our first class in Philly. So with COVID, of course, our programs are going to be happening virtually, but we're really hoping to still make sure we have a large representative of the Philly community present in class.
Awesome. So what brings Launch Code to the city of brotherly love?
Yeah, so basically we really noticed a gap in Philly. As of last year, there was over 6,000 tech jobs unfilled, according to Glassdoor, in November of last year. And there's a lot of great organizations geared towards teaching coding to younger people in the nonprofit world here. And there's a lot of great organizations doing paid training for adults as far as coding here in Philly. But there really isn't anyone, until us, there really wasn't anyone tackling free training, job ready training geared towards adults. So we really saw a gap in that way. And we thought, we would be perfect to come in and help bridge that gap and help develop the community here.
So one of the things that made Philadelphia an attractive market area for you guys is because of the numbers of jobs that were not being filled. And was it also the age? I heard you say something about the young people, about the age gap.
Yeah, so basically what I was saying is there are a bunch of nonprofits that are awesome and are teaching people to code, but they tend to be geared towards kids and people ages 24 and under. And what's awesome about our program and our LC 101 class that we're going to be launching in June is that it's really open to anyone. And the structure of the class is really inviting as far as people with families, people who are working full-time jobs are still able to attend the classes.
That is perfect, because usually when most people see classes, they immediately think kids in high school or kids that are going to college. They're not really, it's not getting the attention. Like, no, if you're 30, hey, this class is for you. So that is something that's definitely going to make you guys stand out, because, you see training, you immediately do not think about the specific age range as far as the younger kids. So as far as demographics, are you hoping to reach the older or the younger?
Really both. Like Leah said, we don't have a limit on who can take advantage of Launch Code's programming. We're a workforce development nonprofit at our core, so we're just looking for people who are hoping to either enter the workforce or take a pivot into the workforce.
Awesome. All right. So how has the pandemic interrupted your shift or transition?
This is such a big question. I would say there are multiple ways like the pandemic has affected the work we do here at Launch Code. I think the number one way, hands down, that we've seen that there's a need for Launch Code's work during the pandemic is that at the core of what we do, it's about equitable access to opportunity and equitable access to stable, high potential growth wage earning careers and jobs. And so it's like we are providing that kind of training to the community for free, right? We can talk about some of our past students who've gone on to get jobs in tech. And when the pandemic hit, we had multiple students reach out to us thank you. If it wasn't for the free training that I got here at Launch Code and you all helping me find a job, I would still be in the service industry and I would be out of a job right now. And so that's one way that the pandemic has affected our business. It's proven that there's a need for this work.
Testimony, right on the spot. Wow, that is awesome, because that is exactly what's happening. That people, especially with the pandemic, a lot of people have lost jobs. So do you see that coding, even with the pandemic and be able to work from home, will be one of the leading jobs in the future?
I know for sure that we've been able to place over 200 people. I think around 240 people, even throughout COVID, in different jobs. And we're seeing that, it really hasn't slowed down. Basically, every company out there has either an app or has a website, and they all need coders to come in and do the work to make those things run. And so as the whole world has shifted to be more remote, even so, there are more job opportunities that are both remote and surrounding coding that need to be filled.
See, that's the awesome thing, because now everybody has kind of shifted to have that access to computers, whether it's through their child having it, not necessarily their job, but being able to get that work done in their home. So would you say most of the jobs would be able to be done at home when it comes to coding? Or do you think that most of them will have to go into a facility?
It's really going to depend as far as what each individual role and what each individual company partner is looking for. I would say for right now, it does seem like almost everyone is at least wanting to start remote, and obviously, looking towards COVID guidance as far as what's safe for everyone to do. I would suspect that a lot of jobs probably will be remote down the line, but it is going to depend employer to employer.
Perfect. So let's kind of just walk the viewers through the process because again, I know some of them they didn't really hit free. Y'all hear you hear free, and you
Free.
hear it's not just for kids because that's usually the first part. Like, okay, we got that out the way, so I know some people are ready and into what is the process. So, what is the first thing they should be expected to do, or as far as being enrolled?
So I would say the first thing people should do is check out our website. Like if you're interested in learning more about what Launch Code is or what it means to start building a pathway to tech for yourself, check out our website, launchcode.org/LC101 to learn more about the class. So that's step one. Like see what we're even offering, check it out. Visiting the website is also free, just like the class is free. So just read a bit more about what we do and what you'll learn in the course.
All right. So we'll give y'all that website later on again because I know it's like, all right, I got to write that down. I know somebody is super excited because as soon as you hear coding, you know that coding is one of the things in the future. So give us a little more reason for the importance of coding.
So one thing I can mention is that a 2019 report basically showed that there was a huge growth in the low wage job sector of people making $35,000 a year or less, wages that really aren't family sustaining. And part of our mission at Launch Code is to get people into upward economic mobility to make family sustaining wages. And what we're seeing is the average salary in computing jobs is $68,000 plus. So of course that doesn't mean we can guarantee someone starting in that type of wage, but we really can put them on a path to be starting in a $55,000 job or more, and then just having opportunities to really continue to grow their wages and sustain their lives and their livelihoods.
Awesome. What are some of the
I was just gonna say, and I would really say it's the way that the workforce is moving, right? We talked about the number of you see every day in the news now the number of people who got laid off because of COVID. And they were in industries that just had to shut down completely. I think when a lot of people hear tech, in my opinion, especially if you're not quite sure what coding even is, you think Google, Apple, and that's all that people equate tech to without realizing that every industry, every company, if they want to survive and thrive in like today's workforce, they have to be moving to a tech-enabled workforce, which means every industry is a tech company now, essentially.
Awesome. So if someone says, what makes your company different than the next? Give us some information about that.
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, we are free. There is not a lot of free tech training geared towards adults, like we were mentioning earlier, especially here in Philly. We have our model is really geared towards job readiness, which also sets us apart. Our goal is to have our graduates come out of our program ready to tackle that entry-level job. And that includes not only the technical skills they're learning, but soft skills as far as interviewing and as far as resume building. So we really want to give them the total package so that when they come out, they are ready to get that job and excel.
Awesome. So when it comes to your company starting, how do y'all have some information on how it started?
Yeah, so interesting story. So like I mentioned earlier, we're based out of St. Louis. That's where we started. Our have you ever heard of Square? It's like the little if you have been to a store today, I promise you have seen like a Square device or a Square application where you see a business owner using that little white Square like card reader that they stick into their phone, especially if they're on the go. That was co-founded by Jim McKelvey and his co-founder Jack Dorsey, who's also one of the co-founders of Twitter. Essentially, Jack Dorsey and Jim McKelvey are both from St. Louis. They attended WashU here in St. Louis, and they're from the area here where they met during school was where they came up with the idea for Square. Originally, they tried to start Square here in St. Louis, but they decided that there wasn't enough tech talent for them to really launch the company here. And that's when they moved it out to the West Coast, where there's like an abundance of tech talent, right? Where you talk about Silicon Valley and startups, there's no like lack of talent there. But Jim McKelvey didn't stop there, right? He came back to the city and he said, well, we saw a problem. Now let's build the tech talent in St. Louis. And so that's how Launch Code started. He was like, well, if we need the talent here, what can we do to make people come? We make it free. Big idea. People take advantage of things when you give it to them for free. And so that is really how Launch Code got started.
Awesome. I love found stories like that. You're like, no, we started from here, then we went here, and we're gonna keep trying and giving it for the
Mhm.
community. That's the awesome thing. It's
Right.
like this is something we're doing for the community. So all the lives that are being touched. What are some of the testimonies that you guys have heard from? Because when this actually changes people's lives. It gives them a
Yeah.
whole nother future that they may not have thought was possible. Can you share with us some of the testimonies that you saw or were able to be a part of?
Yeah, so what we tell people all the time, from employers to community members, is that there is no one launch coder story that is the same. What we promise you all of our people have in common is passion, drive, and aptitude. Outside of those three things, they are all different and they're all incredible and amazing stories. So I wish there was like one unique like launch coder experience, but there's not. But that's also what makes it amazing. I could tell you about like the teacher who became a UX researcher, or like I'm trying to think of people who I know. There's a teacher who became the UX researcher. There's the previous higher ed professor who became the data scientist. There was the bus driver who became a back end web developer. And it's like all of these people have in common just the fact that they needed a chance to access an opportunity to move themselves to better or like reach certain goals that they set for themselves. And like Launch Code being free gave them the chance to do that. It's really dope to hear. We have a graduation event tonight, so I'm excited to hear some
You're
more
gonna make me
stuff.
cry. Oh my God. But first we gotta, for anybody that's just tuning in, Launch Code is coming to Philadelphia and it's free. It's not just for high school students, not for those that are in college, but it is open to the public. So
Mhm.
listen, land your dream job in tech. How can you start out any better than that? You can actually, as you said, she has testimonies where people took the course and was able to land their dream job, was able to start in a career that they may not have been able to start in except for the launch code training. So this is actual training for website. Is that the area that you guys are training in?
Yeah, the class we're bringing to Philly is to train people in back end web development.
And I know people are like, coding can kind of cross languages and cross lanes. Is that also true?
Yes, so there are many. One of the reasons we didn't name off what we teach in the class is because there are so many languages and tools that you can learn when trying to like enter tech and learn how to code. Specifically, the main like languages you'll pick up and learn in our classes. On the front end, people are introduced to coding through JavaScript and Angular. On the back end, they'll be introduced to coding using Java and Spring. So creating really kind of a full stack development skill set to help them move into an entry level role. But there's so much more than that.
I'm
The hardest,
sure.
yeah, the hardest part, hands down, about trying to like encourage our students and keep them going is trying to get them to go deep and not why in their learning, so to speak. And so getting them to really drill in on the tech stacks and skills that they're learning in the moment and learn how to do those effectively and deeply before pivoting to all the other like tools and skill sets that you can pick up through the industry.
Right,
But
stay
that's
on the
like,
path.
yeah, but that's one of my favorite things about our classes. Even with learning those skill sets, what I tell people, hands down, the number one takeaway that we hear our students say was valuable out of this class is that they learned how to learn. We really push people to become independent problem solvers and to pick up their skills that they need to learn how to learn so that when they do want to like expand out, right, they have the skill set to now go pick up those new skills on their own.
Awesome. I'm glad that you said that because I know somebody's sitting like, you know what, they just lost their job and they're maybe on unemployment. They're looking for something new to get into because they have to. And they may say, I don't have any coding experience. Can I really be a coder through your course? What would you say to that person?
Absolutely. Sorry, Jesse, I jumped in there.
No, go ahead.
Absolutely. Our program is open to anyone who's looking to learn. You definitely don't need coding experience to join. We are teaching beginners, you know, and we're teaching, it's okay if you do come in with a little background as well. But really, we're looking to teach people who, like Jesse mentioned earlier, a lot of people are looking to change career paths or looking to get into coding for the first time. And that's really what we love. We're happy to help anyone who wants to come to Launch Code and learn. But at the end of the day, we're really trying to create access to people who don't typically have access to tech careers.
Wow. All right. So what I'm hearing is that you get the first base. Okay, it's free. All right, keep running. What's the next excuse? Oh, I'm too young, too old. Nope, age is not a limit. Keep running. What's the next excuse? Oh, I don't have any coding experience. You don't need it. What's the next excuse? That sounds like a home run to me. I'm just sorry. I don't know. You don't got through all those excuses. They got through all those bases, and it sounds like this. There is no reason for them to not do this if they decide to, you know, just want to get into coding. There's nothing stopping them. So what would be your encouragement to somebody that's saying, I want to, but what would be some of your encouragements to get them to kind of say, yeah, just come on with us. You'll be all right.
My biggest encouragement goes back to it being free. Like you are not losing anything when you come try to learn through Launch Code by just like sticking your toe in the water and trying. Right? We're not asking you for we're not a $10,000 boot camp. We're not even asking you for a deposit. We're not asking you to sign a contract or anything. Like there's really, if you want the chance or the opportunity, the free opportunity is here for you to just come try it. Like just try it. Like you can do it. I promise you. Just try it. You give us your all. We'll give you our all. But if you want to learn more, we have an info session tomorrow, and you can
If
come
we were
join
in a
us for the
poetry
assessment.
session, I would be like giving you snaps. Like, yes, that was the right answer. So if Leah, if you could just give everyone again the information of what Launch Code is.
Absolutely. So Launch Code is a national workforce development nonprofit, and we are looking to get you into tech if you want to get into tech. We have a class coming up that's going to be starting in June. You can go to launchcode.org/LC101 to apply, and that application is due by April 30th.
Okay, so you can get your applications in, and it's free. And the next thing that it's free. There's no age limits. So this is perfect, especially for anyone who's not working, who's looking for a new career. And coding is definitely going to be out there, especially with all the different technology. Like you said, he was looking to get into a tech field. So any statistics that we could throw out there? I know you threw out some earlier. Is there any other ones that we would like to just make a note of regarding coding, or you guys coming to Philadelphia, just to share with our listeners and our viewers?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing for me about why Philadelphia makes sense for us, right? Like why we're trying to show up for the Philadelphia community is that the city itself has started a whole initiative with a huge budget to really position themselves as the most diverse tech hub in the US. That aligned perfectly with our mission. Like our mission is about providing the most access to the most people possible. And so we are truly trying to be part of this initiative to push Philly in the direction of becoming the most diverse tech hub. And we're excited to have a chance to be a part of it.
Well, ladies, I think you've won over our viewers. If you can give us the website one more time before we wrap up.
That's launchcode.org/LC101.
All right. Well, ladies, I thank you so much for that great information. Free, no age limits. Just go in and log on. Thank you so much for tuning into PhillyCAM Voices. Be sure to watch us on Roku and watch us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And until next time, have a good day.